started Gymshark in 2012, and I wish I could say it was like a bit of a eureka moment, or it was like the first business that I tried and then it just blew up. That's just not the case. Gymshark was actually one of 7 websites that I'd made, or that I was running at the time. All of them were in and around health and fitness. I was also running 4 iPhone apps, and health and fitness was just what I loved. And at the time, it wasn't actually anything to do with apparel or clothing. It was just, again, a website that transacts for involvement in the fitness industry. I was at this position where I knew I wanted a website that would transact, but I couldn't get stock on the website. So what I did was I essentially set up the website as a drop shipping supplement website. So what drop shipping is Gymshark didn't hold any stock. We knew other people that did hold stock, and we basically connected the customers with the people that had the stock. So people would go on the Gymshark website. It would have hundreds and hundreds of supplements on. People would order from Gymshark, and then it would basically trigger someone else to ship the product to them, and we would make a small margin. So on a £50 supplement, you'd make £1.50, £2 profit, sort of thing. So it was only small, but it was amazing because, albeit 2 months later after starting the website, we had our first ever transaction, and I must say that was one of the most amazing feelings. Again, as a kid, sort of having never done this before, but all my previous experience was blogs and things like that. But having that first transaction and making, it was literally £2 profit off our first order, was just the best feeling in the world. And I think that's where I sort of caught the bug for the initial Gymshark business. Making that decision to leave university was definitely really, really difficult. Like I said, I'd worked so hard to get there, so it felt like I was taking a big step back. But I think one thing that I've always been quite good at is just trusting my gut feeling. Like, I'm a massively, massively gut-led person. There wasn't this whole thing of me trying to work out how big the market is, our revenue. It was just a case of, like, when I sort of zoomed out and said, where do I see my life in 50 years? It was almost like, will I regret not having a go? I think it was a little bit like that. And I thought, you know what, let's just zoom out. Will I regret this? If I think I will, then I'm just going to give it a go. So I just, I gave it the shot, basically. And again, once I'd made that decision, I never looked back. I know a lot of people can sort of make a decision and then and ah afterwards and things like that. I've never been like that. And I think it's quite important that you try to avoid from becoming like that. Just think very carefully about the decision. In my case, just completely and utterly trusted my gut. And then once I made the decision, it was actually a really powerful decision, because then there wasn't like a safety net at that point. And I think every entrepreneur has that moment where they just take that leap and there isn't a safety net, and it's like almost like a sink or swim moment. And I will also say, it felt very much like a sink or swim moment, but if I was to sink, as it were, it's not the end of the world. I would have been 19 years old and I would have had a failed business, big deal. It wouldn't have defined me, and I think that's important to note. In the moment, it feels like a lot bigger than what it actually is. So the first risk, I'm sure it wasn't the actual first risk, but the first risk I remember making, there's sort of two, one slightly before the other. I spent completely and utterly emptied my bank account to buy a screen printer and a sewing machine. That cost, I think the screen printer was about £1,000. Sewing machine maybe 150 quid from Hobbycraft. So empty my bank account on that. And then after that, not too long after that actually, so Body Power, which is an event in Birmingham in the NEC, it was the fitness event to go to, certainly in the country. And it was probably not the biggest, but I think the best fitness event in Europe, and maybe even at the world, to be honest, in the world. Well, I went there, and with no rationale or numbers whatsoever, I had just an innate gut feeling that we as a business had to be there. And I just went straight up. Literally that day, it was, I'll never forget it, because I had to do this very quickly because I had a shift at Pizza Hut at 5 o'clock that day. I quickly went over to the show's office, and I just said, I just need a stand, because you'd booked for the following year. So I said, I need a stand for next year. What's it going to cost? And I think the cheapest stand that they would do was £3,000, but that's only floor space, so you don't actually get the physical stand with that. So basically just said, yes, I'll do it, because you have 12 months to pay for the stand. So we did that basically, and that was allocating more expenditure over the next 12 months than I'd seen in my life. So